It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, guys and girls, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I'm joined by Alan.
Hello.
And David.
Hey, welcome to the Papaya podcast, as I'm sure it's going to be for the next God knows how long.
Well, you can't really call it papaya because they weren't really full on papaya.
They were Chrome.
Not sponsored. They are, we're not.
Not yet. Google, call us.
So, British Grand Prix.
Yep, one of Alan's favourites.
Of course.
Seems to be one of his favourite tracks, yeah.
Well, it is. It's one of his favourites. I know it's. I
Well,
have a love-hate relationship with it because it's British, it's what it is, but by God, we don't have any good circuits. Well, we do, but none that are up to F1 standards.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, why do all our circuits have to be old airfields and flat as feck?
I wouldn't call Brands Hatch flat, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying, but good looking F1 cars around the Indy circuit. 14-second laps.
F2 maybe. But that's going off topic.
Off topic, cause I've never dreamed of such a thing.
We don't do that sort of thing, do we?
No.
So, obviously, there's no practice discussion because me and David didn't really see it, and Alan did. So if Alan wants to fill in practice sessions, he can do.
I caught some of the practice sessions just in general. So, obviously, free practice 2, Leclerc didn't actually get out, if I'm right, because he had problems with his engine. He had an electrical problem. I think he might have got out 15 minutes before the end, but didn't really get any running.
An Italian car had electrical trouble. I don't believe it.
Yeah. Williams looked really strong all weekend. They were really pushing, and obviously we know the engines aren't turned up for practice, but they were really pushing Red Bull. That was really, there wasn't really anything that really stood out apart from what I said, the Williams car. They brought in the upgrades on both cars now, which is fantastic, and they really shown what they are capable of doing.
We're getting to the point this season where you ignore first place and there's some really good battles going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, the way I see it is Red Bull is slowing down. Everybody else is now catching up to them.
It's probably true, and don't forget, it's about now where we get the reset in
CFD and
wind tunnel time and everything, isn't it? So this should be where we should see.
If don't forget, Red Bull have lost their majority of their wind tunnel time.
Yeah.
With obviously the cost cap breach.
But obviously now's the sort of time that everybody's going to start bringing in their upgrades. You know, I think all upgrades will be on the car, every single car by Sevenport. You know, and then after that, there is no real upgrade on cars.
Well, there'll be minor tweaks.
Minor, yeah, but a lot of attention at that point will turn towards 2024, won't it? As bad as that sounds.
Red Bull's already started.
Of course they have, because let's be honest, Max right now could afford to probably take a couple of races out and still cheaper. Commanding leads, so it's not surprising that he's going to be.
Let's have an actual look at driver standings.
It was a good weekend. It was an interesting one, should we say?
Oh yeah, certainly. It was a good Grand Prix. I'm not going to lie. Let's say qualifying. Now I didn't see part of Q1 just through timings. What happened to Max?
What do you mean?
Something happened. Did he knock a front wing in the pit lane or something?
Oh, he was he was turning out of his box and the tyre hadn't gripped properly, and basically went into concrete wall and slightly dragged it down the concrete wall a bit.
Oh, right. I think when I finally got home to start watching it, there was about a minute and a half left of Q1.
Mm.
So I missed it. I saw all of Q2, all of Q3.
Yeah, no, he had a meeting with the pit wall apparently.
Yeah.
I say obviously it wasn't too bad because the car was able to continue.
Well, yeah, they literally just pushed him straight back in, pushed him back, changed his front wing, and sent him out straight away, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. Obviously, was it Q1 or Q2 the red flag happened?
It must have been Q1 because I
Q1.
don't remember seeing it.
So obviously, having that, obviously they only had just over 3 minutes left. So you can imagine what it was like out on track.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
Was it Q1 or was it Q2?
I thought Q1.
It was Q1
Hmm.
because was it Hulkenberg who stopped on track?
Yeah.
So he actually made it into Q2.
So
But obviously,
Couldn't continue because if your
yeah,
car's been recovered, you're out for the rest of the session.
So, just quickly, Max is on 255 points as it stands. Perez is on 156.
So he's got 4 races in hand.
Yeah.
As near as damn it. He'd have to have 4 DNFs and Perez win on fastest lap all 4.
Yep.
Just to catch him.
Alonso's 137.
No, he's made about 41.
Hamilton's on 121, and then Sainz is 83, George is 82, so it's quite tight between them two.
But did you not hear the stat before the race? In his entire time at Merck, George has scored something like 1 less point than Hamilton.
yeah.
Hamilton, who gets my Lucky Plucker award for the weekend, but I'm sure we'll come on to that during the race.
But qualifying was an interesting one.
It was, I must admit, I've no doubt it was. I know when Lando put that Q3 lap in
I think Red Bull was scared.
and put it on pole, I was jumping up, and then next thing Max comes around and just goes, haha, no.
Well, it wasn't that. The whole thing, like, I feel sorry for Bottas, kind of. But I'm thinking there's going to be serious words happening down at Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he had not enough fuel left or something, didn't he?
Yeah. They couldn't get a fuel sample out of his car afterwards. That's why he got disqualified. It's like, okay. Who fueled that car?
But because
No,
of that,
nobody clearly.
but because of that red flag, because there was obviously spots of rain leading up towards the end of Q1.
Yeah.
But because of that red flag,
It wasn't just Russell's hair again, was it?
no, it sort of dried the track out, which made it quicker.
Yeah, but then
Downside is Perez was at the front of the queue waiting 9 minutes, went
and
out first and screwed it.
his tire. It wasn't that. His tire temp just wasn't there for him, and that's what it was. Which, yeah. Perez isn't having the best form when it's coming to qualifying at the moment, at all.
No, that's 65 in a row now. He's missed Q3.
Let's have a
I'm
quick
pretty sure.
check. Qualifying. So yeah, he was in. Perez was in. Where was he at? No, Perez was out Q1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perez was out Q1. There, he was out. He was out on Q2.
I'm sure I remember him saying something like 5 in a row that he has now missed.
Hang on. He was out Q2 Canada. So that's 1, 2, 3. Spain. He was out Q2 again. And
Basically,
Monaco.
he's been out of early qualifying exits that's left him with damage limitation in 5 straight races.
Yeah, Monaco he was out. Because obviously Imola didn't happen.
Yeah, well, he's not reached Q3, Monaco, Spain, Canada, Austria, and now Britain.
Yeah. In a car which, in the other driver's hands, is walking away with the championship.
Yeah.
You know, even as somebody who likes Perez, that is difficult to defend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because no, Perez did. Yeah, because in Miami, Perez stuck it pole because Max had that issue at Miami.
But we can't take our eyes or can't take our focus away from that McLaren.
No, that's it.
During free practice, I will sit there and say it didn't look like they had pace. You know, they were mid-pack, that sort of thing. But for some reason, they managed to switch those tyres on. They managed to get enough heat in them and keep them there. And yeah, it was phenomenal.
Well, like I said, that Norris lap was absolutely amazing.
I mean, you heard the crowd when he
Oh,
stuck.
yeah.
You heard the crowd when he stuck that on pole, provisional pole. Holy
Yeah.
crap!
It's just sad it was only for a fraction of a second.
But what was, I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute. It did him well not actually being on pole. Really?
Well, you often you find that with Silverstone a lot where they actually get better starts from second place.
Yeah.
It seems to be a running theme with Silverstone.
I think it's happening at an awful lot of circuits now. You know, those who are in second will actually get a better start.
I mean, fair play, and I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. Fair play to Piastri as well.
Oh yeah,
for putting it in third.
Yeah. He wasn't that far behind on Norris's time.
Well, Piastri did a 1:27.092.
Yep.
Norris did a 1:26.961.
So there's not much time difference in it.
No, and then Max went and put a 1:26.720.
But it just goes to show that Red Bull just didn't have the same pace of what you would have seen at other tracks. Well,
or maybe he did, but maybe other cars have got closer.
Well,
yeah.
Like I said to you guys, you know, everybody's now catching the Red Bull. The Red Bull is still going to be strong.
Oh, yeah.
To a degree.
But the other cars are now starting to catch up.
Exactly.
With these upgrades going on, yes, no doubt Red Bull put upgrades on their cars at some point, but at the moment, these upgrades going on these other cars, it's showing that Red Bull are vulnerable to being caught. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Problem is, yet again, and I will say this, Ferrari have got the 1 lap pace. You know, they've got 1 lap pace of Ferrari. I mean, what, 4th and 5th? Qualifying? Yeah. Race pace? Yet again.
And that's the thing.
No, I think they had a more solid race than some of the previous ones.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think in a lot of ways what we're seeing, it's another one of those situations we've mentioned before. I think the sheer jump that McLaren and to Williams to an extent have made, and probably even Merck to an extent, have sort of jumped. I mean, where did Aston Martin go?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, when we were sat here saying we think I could see Alonso getting a win this season.
Yeah.
And he's just dropped off.
I mean, maybe Silverstone isn't suited for the Aston. I know that sounds weird considering how
No,
far
no,
Aston Martin is away from Silverstone.
yeah, it's only a quick stroll across the road.
But like you said, where was your Aston's pace?
It just they seem to have dropped.
Like you say, Alonso ninth, qualified ninth, Stroll 12th.
Hmm.
You know, the Alpine as well. You know, Gasly drove the bloody nuts off that car, just scraped through.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo have sort of. I think one thing I would say we're seeing because more vehicles are going forwards, and unfortunately somebody has to be at the back.
Yeah.
AlphaTauri, yet again.
But the thing is, though, that showed really strong pace in that in pre-practice.
What? The
The AlphaTauri.
AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it just. I don't know. Really honestly, don't have an answer to.
I don't think anybody does.
I'd say Alfa Romeo's.
Alfa Romeo, you go back to when Bottas first went to Alfa Romeo, and they were top 10
Yeah,
pretty comfortably. You know, Bottas was sort of challenging around the back, challenging the factory Ferraris on some occasions.
but this season, the Alfa Romeo, you know, AlphaTauri,
He's obviously putting Alfa in the name does not make it a fast car.
they've just. They just don't seem to be anywhere.
Well, no, I mean, considering you think Williams was always at the bottom of the pack. They were always
Yeah,
at the bottom. Things like
for the last couple of seasons, it's been Williams at the bottom and it pretty consistently.
Mm.
that. At the moment, they're not bottom.
No.
Well, to be fair,
AlphaTauri bottom.
it's Albon more than Sargent, we have to say.
Yeah.
It is Albon, more than Sargent, yeah. Yeah, AlphaTauri at the bottom with 2 points.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo 9, Haas 11, Williams 11. Now,
Yeah, it's going to be a battle between Williams and Haas. Who's going to finish higher?
yeah,
Now, Haas were the team last year. Another team last year seemed to make a massive jump forward.
So a lot of the teams, especially after the summer break, you know, they come out strong.
watch out for Mercedes.
Yeah, they're one of the teams that normally do it. They have a really mediocre first half, but the second half they come out and they come out phenomenal.
Yeah,
You know, and we've seen it with a lot of the lower teams. Haas have done it.
I mean, considering Albon scored 6 points in Canada, he then didn't have a good one at Austria, but yet delivered points. In
Yeah,
Great
like I say,
Britain.
he's sort of considering how he drove back when he was at Red Bull, he has really sort of come on.
Mm,
That's it. I think that year out has done well.
Yeah, and maybe getting out from under the Red Bull stable,
well,
Yeah.
he's still got them as sponsors, but
which is why I'm saying he'll never end up in the Merc. As much as right now he's probably the strongest Mercedes engine driver who isn't in the factory car.
see, I've heard rumours that a certain other Australian might end up getting stuck in AlphaTauri.
Which is what I said.
Webber. I don't see what the benefit there is.
I don't see the benefit of Danny Rick going into it. Because who are you going to get rid of? Because the only person that you would know that they would get rid of would be De Vries.
Yeah, they'll demote him to a reserve driver and stick Danny Rick in there, which is what I said last time.
I just like I said, I don't see
the point.
Danny Rick is never gonna be the future, and I don't mean that in a nasty way.
No.
No, but it'll give him points.
But will it?
Depends on how bad that car is. If that car is as bad as what people are saying, no, it won't. But if Danny Rick can then start getting points from it, what does that tell you about the drivers?
I mean, I did not like the way that. I mean, this is, I'm a McLaren fan, but I didn't like the way that they said about Oscar, it being the right call, getting rid of Danny Rick and bringing Oscar in.
Well, based on the performance this weekend, it certainly wasn't a terrible one.
No,
No.
but
Let's be honest, a fourth place in your rookie season is not to be complained at.
is he going to be able to keep it going?
Oh, only
Like,
time will
well,
tell.
yeah, he's one. I mean, let's be honest, we've got Hungary next, which is another circuit that I think runs similar to Silverstone in terms of its demands.
And then we've got Spa, which is a high pace, which is a fast paced circuit.
Let's hope it doesn't rain.
And let's be honest, the one thing where the McLaren seems to be good now is the high speed stuff. I know it sounds silly when we talk about racing, but
I mean, Silverstone is a high speed track.
oh yeah, very much so. And that's what I'm saying. That obviously even Billy Hamilton was saying it. That McLaren's got speed.
Yeah.
Hamilton admitted that the McLaren had pace and he couldn't get him.
Yeah, they managed to have the speed while actually running heavier downforce loads because they said their big advantage was through the S-bends.
Oh yeah.
If you're managing to pull that together, you're looking very good for some upcoming places like Spa. A car that can be quick and still make the corners.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult act to follow.
Like I say, as long as it doesn't rain, we'll be fine. That's not me making a joke out of a bad situation. That's me actually being quite serious.
Don't worry, I put my feather hat back in the cupboard.
Because they won't.
I'm keeping the chicken alive.
Yeah, I don't think we could do what we did last time where it finished under a safety car.
Because they won't. If it rains, I can see them not doing the race, if you know what I mean. If it got that bad, I can see them not racing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did that one year, not long ago, a few years ago, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
We had that one where they did like 2 laps under the safety car and called it a race,
and that's
which was a bit pathetic, really. But
and that's where the half point crap came in. That was 2021.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to keep an eye on what happens there with this. Because nothing was ever said about whether drivers brought anything up in meetings and stuff like that. You didn't.
Yeah, I never heard anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the race.
Yeah.
Onto
the grid.
So.
Welcome, Apex.
Yeah.
Did you actually see the interview with Brad Pitt and Martin?
Yes. No, I didn't actually see it. I heard about it.
It was actually really good. You had Brad Pitt pretty much pretty fanboying over Martin Brundle, which I found very entertaining.
But it makes up for him snubbing him at fucking Miami.
Well, was Brad Pitt one of the ones, that guy on Sky?
Yeah, he snubbed him at Miami. Not this year.
Must have been last year then, because we only had 2 Miamis.
Yeah, last year's Miami, he snubbed him. He snubbed Martin. So it was a bit like, yeah, you've got to suffer that now, you bastard.
But it looked quite like a nice car, actually.
It did look better than some of the cars on the actual grid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd heard they'd had Bernie consulting for him.
Which one?
He's not going to say it because he can't remember.
The Irish one, the strategist woman.
They were both Irish.
Fuck off.
Where do you think Bernie Eccleston came from? It wasn't fucking Mordor.
Aston Martin's ex-strategist.
Right, that one. Right, okay.
I can never remember the last name. Is it Collins?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, she was brought in just to help them with how things should look in their garages. So with monitors, where things should be, what they should have on them, and everything like that. So they're getting that proper, true,
It-
authentic look.
It does sound, from what I heard, like they're trying to be authentic, which is nice to see.
Well, when you've got Hamilton on the
Oh,
Is
right,
he-
it was sounding good till you said that.
well, he's a producer or something, isn't he?
I know he is, yeah.
And it's only going out on Apple.
For now.
There'll be ways to watch it.
There'll be ways to
Oh, yeah.
watch it.
Well,
Not that,
we'll,
we,
be back,
not that we condone those sort of things, but there will be ways to watch it.
Mm.
we'll play a bit of Sea of Thieves. And we'll find a way.
But
Cut that bit out of the version we put on Apple Podcasts, by the way.
I'm not.
obviously,
I'm not paying $99 to go on Apple Podcasts.
Alright, in that case, then sod Apple, we'll pirate it.
but they are supposed to be going to a few more tracks anyway.
Yeah, Monza is one.
Abu Dhabi is one of them as well.
Like the last race, of course they're gonna.
Yeah. So obviously it's not going to be the last time we see it.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple more. It's following more than we've named.
It's also a very brave move to go recording these. I understand it's probably better for making it feel more realistic, but to go and actually record it at races is brave because there is so much out of their control
Yeah.
Crowd.
when they're doing that. You know what I mean? There's so much
Yeah.
They even joined them for the
parade, didn't they? Because
They
parade
tried
and national anthems.
national anthems. It's like you could see Perez chuckling. On a picture, I've seen the picture, you could see Perez chuckling.
oh, I don't know, I missed that one.
Yeah, because and Max is just not even looking at them. It's funny.
But
I
start of the
mean,
race.
fair play to, like you say, fair play to get it as authentic as possible.
That's it. It definitely sounds to me like they're paying attention to F1. They're not just using it as a.
As a platform.
No, they're actually trying to make it. They're just trying to appeal to the F1 fans.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which, I'll always credit where credit's due. If you're willing to come in and do that, you're generally going to do all right.
But start of the race.
Huh.
I couldn't hear the commentators after turn 1.
Well, because of the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, were you actually there or something?
I wish I was.
I must admit, when Norris got, even I was, like I said, and I'll say now, fast, I'm not a particular McLaren fan, but it was nice to see Norris leading to that first corner. Did feel good as a Brit.
But as soon as Norris got the jump and I saw Piastri coming down the side, I thought, fucking hell, don't.
So it's Max very much backed out. I think, but where him and Hamilton had the famous crash a couple of years ago, I think it was. Yeah, I'm crap with corner names, and you saw Max think about it and then back off.
Oh yeah, he wasn't getting involved.
obviously
realised it wasn't worth.
No.
I think if Piastri had gone to the left instead of to the right, he might have actually had a chance of getting
he just
Verstappen as well. But it's just one of the things you automatically go to that side of the track, sort of thing. It's a typical thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just thinking to myself, don't wipe each other out for fuck's sake. You put a lot of hard work into that.
Well, at one point, Norris had over a second on Max.
Oh yeah, he got out of his DRS at one stage, didn't he? So.
Yeah.
But the McLaren just seemed to be able to light the tyres up a bit quicker.
Yeah, and that's so what during qualifying, you know, they're able to switch those tyres on so well. Even I'll give Russell his due, you know, nobody was expecting those softs to last as long as they did.
No.
Oh no, that was it. I at one point I was sat there watching it with other half. I said, they're at half race distance now, and Russell's still on them softs he started on.
Yeah.
That's going to be a massive wake-up call to some of those other teams that the softs could be a viable option here.
I think the original strategy was to go medium
Like-
hards.
Yeah. A lot said the softs were only good for like 14 laps.
10 laps, apparently.
And what did he? He got near 30 out of them, didn't he?
Got quite a few out of them, you know. So he was looking after them quite well. Yet he's still quite punchy.
Yeah.
Mm.
But even when Verstappen overtook Norris, you know, him, Norris, and Piastri, they had such a lead on the rest of the field.
Mm.
I mean,
If it weren't for that safety car, you know, it could have been completely different. But we'll never know.
That frigging safety car. That Hamilton, I'm sure Hamilton could fall in a sewage pit and come out with a gold bar. I'm serious.
Oh,
his tyres
maybe
were
not-
shot towards the end.
yeah. Well,
It's just the
maybe-
way he managed to come. He somehow managed to be in just the perfect place
yeah, well,
to benefit. Because poor Piastri lost out.
Mm.
the thing with that safety car was it was originally a virtual,
It was a VSC and then it got put into a full.
Then he got bumped up to a full, yeah.
but it was under VSC for quite a while before they put it into the full. Now, when I saw it, I knew straight away that should be a full safety car because of where it was.
Yeah.
And do you want to clarify what it was?
A
Onion
flaming
failure.
hat.
Yeah, literally
You are.
a flaming hat.
Mm.
Once again, a Ferrari engine blowing up. Let's be honest, it's not the first time we've said that on this podcast.
You know, and it was just it should have been a straightaway safety car, possible red flag.
I would never have said red flag
No.
because it was off the racing line, but it was definitely. I agree with you, full safety car.
Yeah. Should never been a virtual.
Well,
I think they were hoping because the thing was, despite us being fairly well into the race, there wasn't a gigantic amount of field spread
No,
because nobody was a lap down yet.
no.
In fact, did anybody get lapped by
No.
the end?
Nobody got lapped because they didn't have to unlap during the safety car.
there
Yeah,
was
but by the
only-
end of the race, I don't think anybody got lapped, did they? Or
No.
very few.
So between first and 17th, with Sammy cars finished, it was only 33 seconds.
Yes, I think what that boils down to on terms of track, there was probably quite a large gap
Mm.
where there was no cars. And I think the reason they didn't instantly, they just VSC'd it was they reckon with a slower pace they'd be able to just hopefully clear it. It wasn't until they realised they were going to have to get a Volvo FL6 on track.
Yeah, until they had to get the truck on track to.
And obviously, nowadays, that is serious. No truck moves on track unless it's very controlled.
Yeah.
And that's why they brought the safety car in.
Yeah. Who, by the way, should have a 5-second penalty for track limits, but let's not go there.
I was going to say exactly the same.
He didn't have screw that out of that corner and.
Well, we've said it before, that's 2 tons. You know,
Oh, we know that.
like,
but
luxury coupe, but yeah, he was well and truly off the track coming out the last corner.
Yeah, because
God, he was that far wide, he had to pay to get back in.
I know he was definitely booking it round that corner, and it's like, hang on, why is he not getting track limits?
Track limits for the Mylander.
That would have been funny if it had have actually happened.
Now, the thing is, if I'd worked at the FA, I'd have done it just for shits and giggles, but
Yeah.
I would have done.
you would, wouldn't you? You'd throw something like that up just to... If nothing else, you'd get a great what the hell from the commentators when that message came up at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Not go penalty.
Nah,
But again, it was a good race. You know, the battle between Norris and Hamilton after the safety car restart.
Norris
Yeah.
was defending like crazy.
Yeah, he was, but he managed to keep it, and that's what screwed Lewis over was the fact that he because of that attacking that he done, he burnt his tyres out too quick.
Burnt his rears out, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, obviously the idea of putting the McLaren on the hards, as odd as it looked at the time,
Worked.
yeah,
did have some bonuses to it.
Yeah, I'll admit it was a bit of a because everybody else is going on softs, yet they went out on hards. It's just like it's not. How's that going to?
Yeah,
But
but
it
if you
worked.
but Verstappen and Hamilton went out unused softs. They were scrubbed. You could tell they weren't brand new.
Yeah, really, that's just taking life off them. So
Yeah, they were scrub tyres.
I mean, okay, I know I've been under the virtual or main safety car. You're not going to wear them as down as much.
No.
We know that ourselves, but it's still going to affect them. Whereas we know the hards will obviously last and sort of thing.
basically, at that point, the hards gave you flat out running till the end of the race.
Yeah,
That's exactly
Short of
what
you
they
locking
did.
up and badly flat spotting one or something silly,
Mm,
you've got free, just free and go
yeah.
yeah.
qualifying laps till the end.
I mean,
And
Max really didn't get that far away in the end from Norris.
no. I mean, you know, I know Lando got most of the vote for driver of the day.
Oh yeah, he got driver of the day, and McLaren also got the fastest pit stop.
I must admit, I actually threw my vote to Piastri.
I voted for Norris.
I went for Piastri as well, just because he was doing so well.
Yeah, I thought as the new guy, rookie season, to only lose that one place,
Yeah,
I thought was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about Norris getting it. That's deserved as well. That he deserves it. But personally, to me, Piastri's was almost that little bit more impressive because
Yeah.
he's only in his 11th Grand Prix.
Yeah.
You know, and if it wasn't for the safety car and the way that fell, I think there's a very good chance he could have had third.
He could have had third.
You know, now I'm happy to see two Brits on the podium, but would I have been happy with a Brit and an Aussie? I could have lived with it certainly.
Well, that'd be just Monza all over again, except that no shoeies.
You never know. Someone like he might have brought it back just for that.
but it was an interesting race. Silverstone always does bring that. You know, is there going to be rain? Isn't there? There was forecast for a bit of rain, and
Well,
yeah,
there was a bit of rain, but not enough.
There was a few spits and spats around one, but never enough to cause any issues.
yeah. You know, but
Did you see
again,
the podium?
Yes, I did.
where they started the celebrations early.
That poor woman. She didn't know what to do.
That was Norris. That was Norris who got her. So when they had the trophy, when Max finally got the trophy, Norris sprayed him and her at the same time, and you could see it in his face. He was pissing himself laughing.
She had no clue what to do. It was like, right, I've got to do the photo, but I need to get out of here.
It's the fact that they obviously didn't tell them
To wait.
that he to wait. He got to wait for the original trophy, all the normal trophies to go out. Then when they give you another one,
Yeah.
But yeah,
It just made one of the entertaining podiums, then, didn't it?
but they soaked Norris.
Oh, I know he got soaked. But did you see the cool down room conversations?
I didn't get a chance to hear the cool downs conversation.
I didn't hear him overly. I think I was starting to mess around with something.
It was quite interesting. Hamilton seemed a bit more chilled than
I think for Hamilton, it'd just be relief one because let's be honest, I don't think he expected that going into that weekend.
No.
He sounded really down the last couple of races about the car. So I honestly think that he just was amazed when that come together how it did.
I mean,
But you can't take nothing away from obviously Hamilton for doing as well as he did, because obviously to get it third, it's not the greatest of cars. You know, fair play to him. And
you've got to be there, and he's getting the car. Him and Russell are probably out driving that car right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just typical of Mercedes and Hamilton that somehow they can build an absolute shit show of a car and still be the third fastest car.
I mean, I'm gonna say, Perez, good recovery drive.
Again,
Yeah, finishing 6th.
seems to be it's what he's having to do now on a pretty regular basis.
Alonso, 7th. And like we say, Williams, fair play. Albon,
Yeah.
8th.
Got to give it to Albon. Getting 8th in a car that had been so dominant over free practice as well.
Oh yeah.
And that special livery was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and that did look good. We'll give him that.
Ferrari,
Ferrari's probably the disappointment, but it's Ferrari, isn't it? Unfortunately,
9th and 10th.
I'm sure we could put a regular segment in this podcast of what did Ferrari do this time.
Yeah. Did they do anything right this time?
I don't think anything particularly wrong. I just don't think there was any particular brilliance from them, as bad as that sounds.
Logan Sargent, 11th. Bottas in 12th. Hulkenberg.
That's not 12's not bad considering he started last because he got disqualified from quali.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg 13th. Stroll just seemed to drop down. Obviously, Zhou. Thank God he didn't have another.
They had redesigned. I think I heard Crofty talk about it and he said they have redesigned those barriers.
Yeah.
To avoid anything like that happening again.
And then obviously Yuki and Nick de Vries at the back.
Yuki and de Vries at the back.
As I say, as we said, AlphaTauri quickly becoming just the last team.
Yeah. Alpine unfortunately had a double DNF and.
Yeah, it was hydraulics for Ocon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, either that or he still had penalties to serve from Austria.
Says he got over all his penalties yet.
Oh, he was bordering on the territory that the McLarens were that year Alonso drove from, wasn't it? Do you remember that? Was it the first year of the Honda engines?
Yes.
Where his penalties carried race to race, Alonso would have ended up about 3 races behind everybody else.
Yeah. But all I will say about that McLaren livery for Silverstone with that chrome, cast your mind back a few years.
Silver McLaren, Vodafone written down the side.
No, even better. Force India.
They were always pink, weren't they?
No. I think it was when they sort of first come into the business.
Oh yeah, of course they had like the orange, white, and green.
Well,
yeah, black, orange. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the picture in front of me here. Fair enough, I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
2016.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure what to really make of that McLaren livery.
When I saw it in free practice, it didn't look great. But seeing it actually in the race itself and going around, it actually looked quite nice. Obviously, having Norris with a chrome helmet on as well.
Oh yeah, his helmet was like the textures hadn't loaded.
It was literally a chrome helmet with the chrome symbol on top.
I still remember their joke at the start of the season about chrome wheels on an F1 car. There's a picture of their wheels with the chrome logo on.
But
That wasn't the start of the season. That was this weekend, wasn't it?
No, they did that joke right at the start of the season.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you guys ever noticed with the McLaren, on the sides, it's actually a LED screen that lights up with chrome on it.
Is there?
Yes, it's an animated sort of style.
I'm amazed you want that with the weight.
Yeah.
No, so it doesn't actually affect the weight. But if you look at obviously from the top view, when you're looking down where the driver sat, you've got the two, obviously the support bars, right near the driver's seat itself. They actually light up there, a bit flickers. I will try and see if I can get a picture or something of it, but Yeah, it actually flickers, so you will see chrome will pop up, and then it will disappear and come back and things like that. So it is quite nice, and they've done it to
Where,
allow
where,
any company
where are
that
we
they want to
talking?
advertise.
Where are we talking? I'm looking at a top-down view of the car.
I'm trying to
I will
find it.
drop. I will drop the link to exactly what I'm looking at in our usual chat window. Then you can.
Yeah,
We're all looking at the same picture. Probably makes it easier. You might have to scroll a couple of pictures to get to the top-down view.
One second. So we're just having a quick look at this, and then we can.
Wait, we're just clarifying this before we call Alan a bullshitter.
right. So if you look on picture number 2,
Hang on. Right. So which picture?
picture number 2.
Yeah, which is top-down, which is the one I'm looking at.
Yep. Oh, are you on the side? You meaning on the side pods?
Where you've got the chrome symbol,
The two little white chrome symbols, sort of almost under the halo.
yep, it's around that sort of area that they have it. So
Oh,
what they've done is, so any team that they obviously got sponsored, or any of their sponsors want to have it there, they can pay for it there and it will flash up during the race.
I never noticed that, but I'll tell you what I'll be looking for in bloody Hungary.
Look, I mean, will it be there? Is it there all the time, or was it just for that special?
No, it's always there.
Well, no, this picture we're looking at, mate, isn't of that special.
No, I know it's not. I've just never. It depends. Yeah, but it depends if they're going to do the onboards with McLaren. That's the problem.
Well, you can do if you're a Sky customer, not sponsored, you can do an onboard wherever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, no, but I don't have access to that feature, do I? So, I mean, anything you guys want to round out with before?
No, I think we've covered most of the point. Oh, do we want to talk about what I was talking about just before we
Yeah.
came online, or do we want to hold that till we got more information?
No, you can bring it up.
Right, it's a news article that I'm trying to find it just to make sure I've got. Basically, it was a news article I saw in the week leading up to the race where they were talking about testing using wheel covers, rain guards.
Yep.
Now here we are. I've got a link from ESPN, which is about as trustworthy as I'm going to find at short notice. Thank you for the laugh there. I will link you both just to... And I have this issue with this apparent idea. And my issue runs basically... No, I don't want to run. I want to play the video. Okay, that video doesn't actually even relate to the article in question. Test rain guards. Now, my issue is, what's that going to do to the effect of the water? Because the way in F1, especially a wet weather tyre works, is it takes the water and fires it up into the air out from under the tyre, which is where you get the massive rooster tails. There is also the debate where a lot of it comes from the aerodynamics, from the diffuser, but that's different. But if all that water's then getting fired up into this cover, which from the picture I just saw looks to be very tightly fitting and goes quite a bit of way round, then you're going to be... What's going to happen to that water? It's going to get trapped under there, and then what happens to it? It doesn't just despawn. Now, I could see a situation where cars end up aquaplaning because the water ends up getting forced back in front of the wheel again.
Yeah.
Because it's got nowhere else to go, and it goes back under the tyre. And you're basically going to get a tyre waterboarding itself. I mean, I'm not a physicist. I'm not a, water engineer. So maybe somebody listening who knows about this thing and says, "No, David, you're talking bollocks." Please jump in the chat and let me see what I'm missing. Because I just see this as being a problem. I mean, I know cars have wheel covers, road cars, but number one, we generally ain't doing 200 miles an hour in those conditions.
Mm.
And if
And
you
in
are,
most cars, well, I mean, I'm a van driver, but let's not go there. And number two, generally speaking, your wheel arches on cars are not that tight fitting.
Yeah.
You know, you've plenty of room. I mean, you see it yourself. You've been on the motorway behind a truck or something, and the amount of water they can displace in rain.
Oh, tell me about it.
You know, and that's. Like I said, I'm probably missing something obvious. But I just see a lot of potential problems with this idea.
I think that's
No.
why they're only just doing it for a test phase, just to see what can actually happen and will it actually work.
Well, it might. It might not.
You know,
Yeah.
but we all sat there, you know, when the Halo came out. I think everybody was like, what the actual fuck is going on?
Oh,
What is
yeah,
it?
I'll fully admit I was one of them.
I was. But I tell you what, it's proven itself.
Oh, it saved 2 or 3 serious injuries.
Mm.
I think the most the most spectacular crash we've seen that's actually saved somebody's life would actually be Grosjean.
Grosjean, Zhao,
Grosjean and like Guan Yu Zhou.
Yeah,
and even the Hamilton Verstappen Monza incident.
yeah.
Where. Yeah.
You know,
where,
Verstappen's rear wheel ended up in the cockpit.
Mm.
You know, I will hold my hands up. I was wrong there. I
But
didn't like them when they came in, but I just what little I understand about physics of like water
Mm.
tells me that this is not a good idea.
And proof will be in the test.
Well, how are they going to? Because you can't guarantee a wet day to test it. What are they going to do? Spray the track?
yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
So,
Fair enough.
so there is actually testing at Silverstone this week.
I mean, let's be honest, if they'd done it today, judging by how the weather was around here, you'd have got some wet weather testing.
Yeah, no, I think
Because
it's
it bucketed down a couple of times today.
midweek. There's testing at Silverstone on tyres, and some of it's actually wet weather testing,
Right.
wet driving. So what they actually do, there is no rain, obviously. They spray the track and soak the track to however they want, whatever tyres they want to test, whether it's intermediates for wet,
Oh, wet, yeah.
you know. So that way they still can get the data.
They're getting the slightly more controlled conditions.
Yeah,
No, that makes sense. I knew there'd be something like that, but I just, like I say, I await these test results because I personally think it's going to be issues.
yeah.
Well, we'll see. See what happens. You know.
Yeah.
What happens after the test?
But no, I think all I'm going to say is fair play to McLaren. Let's hope they can keep it up.
Mm.
I think if they're now back in the fight, and you know,
This is
Zach Brown looked like he just won the Super Bowl after qualifying, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hell. I was thinking he started doing backflips across the mini garage.
question is though, if they ever get a first, will he get a new tattoo?
It's also it'd be good for Norris, who has come close now on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah.
I mean, we all remember Sochi that year,
Mm.
Oh,
where it was robbed from him, and I will say that it was robbed from him by the weather.
yeah.
So basically, for anybody that can see the screen, we do the obviously fantasy F1 league. Yeah.
All I can say is Alan's knowledge of Silverstone clearly worked again.
Yeah, but he got well with Hamilton being up there though this time, didn't he?
Yeah. And bugger you beat me again. I was starting to close you in and you pulled back out a lot.
I know. That's what I
But still-
wanted.
I didn't.
Not that much in it between you two though.
No.
80 points.
Yeah. That's what I mean, but I was hoping, you know what I mean, I was hoping to try and increase my lead a little bit.
I was hoping to start clawing more back.
And you didn't. loaded, yeah.
There's time yet, boy.
I know there's still time. It's
Oh,
80 points.
this time I can overtake both of you yet.
Hang on, which one did you win which one did you win that one with?
Rough races.
So where's that? Oh yeah, it's in third. Okay. We'll see. We've still got a while to go yet.
Oh yeah.
We'll see what the points are. See what the points are like when we come to the summer break.
Aye.
We sit there twiddling our thumbs.
Nah, we'll just have F1 content and other stuff to keep us busy.
Yeah, we'll find something to do. We always do.
So, yeah, we're gonna round this one out. So, thank you to Alan and David for joining me.
More than welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So don't forget, guys, that this comes out, obviously, if you're a regular listener, obviously it comes out on the Friday, and then we'll, obviously, when the summer break happens, there won't be, obviously, any podcast. We might do some filler episodes, we're not sure, I'll speak to the guys on that. But, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Obviously, if you're watching the video version on YouTube, and we shall see you next time. So until then,
Adios, amigos.
So long, and thanks for the fish.
goodbye for now.